guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's a Sunday, April 13th, 2026, and tonight was AEW Dynasty. Now, overall, I did not see the pre-show, so I can't comment on any of that, but overall, I thought for the most part, it was a pretty damn good show. I was entertained, I was engaged, and I liked just about everything on the card. If I'm gonna say there were things I didn't like, didn't really care about the women's title match. I never really felt any connection to that. Maybe that's because, and correct me if I'm wrong, some of that was built on Collision, so I didn't really see much of the build to this match. I didn't really see much of the, hey, this is why Jamie Hayter's getting a title match. I don't know. Well, that just didn't really do much for me. The match itself was okay. The other match that didn't really do anything for me, Trios title match. I just never felt invested. It really felt like it was in the death spot. You know, oh, we've been watching this for a while. We hit them highs. We hit a little bit of a low with the women's title match. Now we're going to just rest as fans before we really feel what's going to hit us in that main event. And maybe that's why I never really felt anything with it. But at the same time, it's like I've never been invested in the conglomeration. The dogs, they feel a little forced as badasses, if you know what I mean. Like Gabe Kidd over there, and Gabe Kidd possibly suffered an arm injury tonight, which is unfortunate. But it's like Gabe Kidd over there peeing on the couch or pretending to pee on the couch. And then you got Clark Connors pretending like he's humping the title on the couch. It's like, it doesn't feel, I don't know. It feels forced. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like they're trying to be badass. They're trying to be rebels, I guess you would say, in a sense. But it just doesn't come off like they are. It feels like guys pretending to be, if that makes a lot of sense. Now, granted, all three guys, David Finlay, Clark Connors, and Gabe Kidd, fantastic professional wrestlers. Not taking anything away from them. You get them in the ring, you ring that bell, and they're all really, really, really good. But I don't know. The characters and the gimmicks not really doing it for me there, and maybe it's because I didn't follow them enough in New Japan and what they were doing there, so maybe it's got to grow on me. I don't know, but overall, I thought there was a lot of good on tonight's show. I do want to go pull up the Wikipedia really fast because, you know, I like looking at match times. The longest match on this show was, let's see. Now, actually, speaking of the pre-show, I did see the stuff with Camille. Camille is back. They made slight reference to American Gladiators. She's getting a TNT or TBS title match this Wednesday. So, longest match of the night was, wow. It did not. Kudos to MJF and Kenny Omega. I want to say that right now. Kudos to them, because this match did not feel like it went 39 minutes. It did not feel that long. At least not me watching it. Maybe it did to other people. Maybe it felt longer being there live at the building. I thought, you know, I was going to click this and it was like 25. I'm like, this felt like the longest match of the night, but it didn't feel 40 minutes long. Oh, snap. So kudos on them for having an almost 40-minute match that really felt like it was half the time or just a little more than half the time. Because I expected, you know, I'm looking here, scrolling down, and I'm like, okay. You know, the opener on the main card was almost 20. We had a couple other 21-minute matches, and I'm going, okay, this is going to be what? 23 to 25? Nope. It was 39 on the dot, according to Wikipedia. So again, kudos to Kenny Omega and MJF for going out there and having a really good match, other than a couple of things that if you follow me, you know my gripes are going to be that goddamn table spot. Why wasn't that on a DQ? Bryce. Come on, Bryce Remsburg. Also, Bryce Remsburg at one point pulling his count for no reason and then trying to cover him, going, shoulders up. And then all of a sudden, MJF kicks out. What? We'll talk about it all later. But I thought the main event was fantastic, other than a couple little things. Really, it's just the table. If you're using the announce table, it's whatever, because we've learned in wrestling, and I guess maybe it's just because I'm watching WWE for almost 30 years or whatever. The announce table's out there as a part of the set, placed out there before the show started. So if someone gets put through it, it's not a DQ because it's part of the set. No different than getting speared through the barricade. It's already there. But it's when you pull the table out, it's when you set the table up and you put someone through the table that it should be a DQ in a match that was not specifically stated beforehand. Is not no DQ. No one ever said this match will be contested with no disqualifications. We assumed it's got all the regular rules. But Tony Khan thinks he's booking ECW where rules don't matter and you could do anything you want. But again, talk all about the main event when we get to the main event. With all of that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. We greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube. You can help us out by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos or when we go live and when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get access to our graphics packages. You get our graphics tutorials early. You get a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis that you can use in the live chat, and so much more. Also, remember, if you are watching live on YouTube, you can get your comment, question, or concern right live on the air by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting Buzz Lightyear and Zurg that just dropped on Friday in Fortnite like I did. Super cool Buzz Lightyear. Haven't played with Zurg, used Zurg yet. Use Buzz. Buzz is great. Buzz is great. If you get the back bling, it's the big rocket from Toy Story 1. And when you start running and stuff, and maybe I haven't paid too much attention with it, but like the wick on the back of the rocket or the bottom of the rocket actually it was like lit, which is cool. Like when you're just standing there, I've noticed it doesn't do anything. Like when you start running, it's lit. It lights, like the wick is lit. Very cool. Very cool. You can swoosh the helmet on and off. Not really. You can pick if you want it on or you can pick if you want it off. I wish they would have an emote where it swooshes on and off. Like with the Spider-Man emote where you can put the mask on, take the mask off. It would be cool if Buzz can go whoosh, or whoosh. That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. But you're big in there. With that, you're going to buy anything in Fortnite, use our code of PWUNLIMITED. Again, that's PWUNLIMITED. Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Now, as far as this show does go, AEW Dynasty. Dynasty from Vancouver, British Columbia. I don't know what the attendance was. They didn't say anything. I haven't looked up WrestleVote, so let's go look really fast. Go. See, why can't I find WrestleTix? Come on. There we go. WrestleTix. Now let's find Dynasty. WrestleTix. Let's just search WrestleTix Dynasty. All right, there we go. So Dynasty set it for 9,000, and this was as of yesterday. Set it for 9,000, 8,699 with about 300 tickets to go yesterday. Well, yeah, yesterday. There were roughly 300 tickets left for a 9,000 setup. Not bad. Not bad for AEW. Getting almost 9,000. Rogers, I know, is a bigger building, though. Let's see. Rogers Arena capacity of, isn't it a 20? Yeah. It's a 20. 19,700. Concerts do 19. So, you know, it was half full. A little less than half full. Or about half full. As far as this show does go, why are my notes not wanting to load? Here we go. AEW Dynasty show itself did kick off again. Like I said, I didn't see the pre-show other than I saw there was some stuff with Camille. Camille is back. She attacked Willow Nightingale. Willow was supposed to wrestle on the show. She injured Willow to the point where she couldn't wrestle tonight, but Willow's going to get cleared and wrestle on a Wednesday where she will defend the TBS championship against Camille. Like, again, another problem I think AEW has is not building up challengers. Who the fuck is going to go into Wednesday and care that Camille is challenging for the belt when Camille hasn't worked a match in over a year? Camille cage match. When was Camille's last goddamn match? Camille's last match was in AEW, not counting tonight, where she took on Big Ann. Who the fuck is Big Ann? It's not quite a year. I take that back. November, December, January, February, March, April. 6 months. It's been 6 months because I forgot that she came back briefly. Anyways, her last match was a match where she lost to Chris Statlander on a Fright Night Dynamite, October 30th, 2020. Oh, wait, no. It's been a year and a half. My bad. I looked at this wrong. Her last AEW match was 2024. 24. She's going to come back and just automatically get a title match? What? What sense does that make at all? And then you wonder why people go, you got too many titles that mean nothing. Because A, you've just got too many titles. But when you're just handing out title shots like nothing to people that have been gone for a year and a half, to people that have not earned the title shot, it's like, whatever. It would be different if, like, Camille had been around for a little bit, maybe even back for, like, 4 to 6 weeks, picked up a couple wins and goes, I'm tired of beating all these blokes. I want a title shot. Willow, come on, let's go. At least you've racked up a couple wins. You've got a couple things under your belt to say, hey, this is why I deserve the title shot. Not, oh, I'm back after being gone for a year and a half. Give me a title shot. No. It just doesn't make sense to me. She's getting a title shot. And you're going to say, well, she attacked the champion. And so the champion said, I'll put my title up on the line against you just to get a match with you. It's just too convoluted, in my opinion. So I don't even know if the match is going to be good because, I'm going to be honest, we haven't really seen any good matches out of Camille in AEW. I'm going to say it right now. I don't know if we've seen a good Camille match in AEW. Like, passable at best. So I'm got no if fans, whatever's about this match. It's just like, oh, it's happening. I like Willow. Like, I'm a big Willow Nightingale fan. But this match happening with the build here, that is just meh. So that was on your pre-show. Took on some chick named Big Ann. That's the only thing I saw. She took on Big Ann, and then they talked about her attacking Willow. I was like, oh, okay. As far as the main show does go, I also did see Jungle Boy and Mark Davis. I forgot about that match, but I did see bits and pieces. I was like not paying attention, but I had it on, so I kind of saw it. Jungle Boy did retain the national title. Again, another guy that didn't earn it. What? Mark Davis? Like, I saw Mark Davis come out, and I'm like, wait, what? Why? What Mark Davis do to earn this title shot? Oh, nothing. It's just more giving out title shots to anybody who wants it. You don't got to earn it. It's like if you were to go into the UFC and just be like, oh, I've been gone for 2 years. I lost my last 4 matches, but I want to fight for the belt anyways. Let's do it. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Unless your name's Conor McGregor and you know you're going to pop by, right? Anyways, Mark Davis ain't Conor McGregor. The main card, though. Main card of AEW Dynasty did see the show open up with international champion Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita of the Don Callis family taking on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. You know, I liked this match for the story that it told. You watch my stuff, you know what I say. AEW just has matches. There's not really much story to some of their stuff. This told a really good story with Takeshita and Okada. Like, let's get into it, actually. I was going to just talk about the big points, but we'll just get into the whole thing. So Takeshita and Nick start things off. Takeshita ramped up quickly with Takeshita line for tagging in Okada. Both men shook hands, so you think, okay, there's some teamwork here, but they smirked at each other like, oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Okada then hit a slingshot senton, mocking the Bucks pose. He was also dressed like the Bucks, which was funny as shit. But you know that the great thing about that, Okada being dressed like the Bucks, is because, you know, Okada is such good friends with the Bucks. Him and Nick, if you ever watched BTE back in the day, him and Nick were always in Japan playing jokes on each other and pranks and stuff like, yeah. So I loved this, that Okada was dressed as a young buck. Anyways, the delay here of the pose allowed for Nick to hit a Lucha Libre scissors, like an arm drag kind of move, head scissor arm drag, as the Bucks followed this up with an assisted slice spread PK on Okada, as a series of standing switches allowed for the Bucks to hit a sunset flip German suplex combo, taking down Takeshita as well off the apron on the outside. At one point, the Bucks tried to go for a dive, but Okada had it scouted. Big smile on his face, sending Nick crashing to the floor. Matt was taken to the outside as Callis raked the eyes. As Okada distracted the referee, right on cue, the crowd starts chanting, "Fuck Don Callis. Fuck Don Callis." Takeshita then tried to pop up Matt from the floor to the apron, but Matt countered with a flipping stunner. Right as he was about to tag Nick, Okada swept his legs, spiking Nick with the DDT and put the Bucks. This is when he put the clothes on. That's right. I took it back. This is when he put the clothes on. Yeah. So he took the jacket, took the headband, and put it on. That's right. I was thinking wrong that he came out dressed as it. Either way, super funny because we know the relationship of Okada with the Young Bucks. He then begged for a hot tag from Matt to allow a pop. Matt turned, and Okada was flipping him off. So he ate a super kick for his troubles. Matt turned to Takeshita and got hit with an exploder for a 2. Okada then tagged in, but Matt hit a Cazadora Bulldog for a reset. Nick finally made the hot tag, getting back up on the apron, rolling across Takeshita's back into a spin kick on Okada before hitting a top rope double stomp, rolling into a backstabber on Takeshita. There's a Cazadora cutter on Okada for a 2 as Takeshita made the save. But the Bucks hit dueling sunset flips into sharpshooters. Takeshita then stopped Okada from tagging. Commentary was like, who's legal? Like, who's the legal man? And then Takeshita's like smacking Okada and like holding his hand up or whatever. He's like, don't tap. He's like, oh, Okada's the legal man. When the commentary can't even figure the fuck out, how are we supposed to figure it out? Like, that's the one other thing. It's like, the match broke down and you didn't know who was who or what was what. Either way, scramble to the ropes, break the hold, all that stuff, whatever. There's forearms for Takeshita. Okada then came in with the air raid neck breaker on Nick. Matt avoided a Takeshita Blue Thunder bomb, but had help with an assisted Hurricane Rana on Takeshita as the Bucks went up and hit dueling senton elbows for a 2. It was the Melts driver that was blocked in Takeshita as Takeshita and Okada reversed and hit a Stereo Bastard driver tombstone for a near fall. At one point, Takeshita hit an avalanche release German suplex as he was about to hit a power driving knee, but hit a super kick from Nick Jackson instead. Okada then flew into one of his great drop kicks, tried to go for the Rainmaker on Matt, but he ducked, and then ate a power drive knee from Takeshita. Takeshita sold this great as far as his facial reactions of, oh shit, what did I do? I just took out Okada. Uh-oh. But then at the same time, having to look like, fucker, you're in the way. So it's like he was upset that he hit his partner, but at the same time, kind of like, I don't care. I don't like you anyways. Whatever. Nick was able to tackle Okada onto the pile to break a count at one point. There's a top rope elbow from Okada, who followed this with flipping off the crowd as Matt fought off of a Rainmaker and a tornado tombstone. Can't speak right now. Matt at one point tried to go for a super kick on Takeshita, who countered into a blue thunder bomb. Only Nick launched off of his brother's back for a destroyer, which Takeshita no-sold into a double power drive knee on the Bucks for a reset. As all four men were up, slugging it out, Okada all of a sudden decks Takeshita, and then both start throwing bombs. Callis was fine with it as they caught Nick charging in with a jumping knee. Matt then shoved Okada into Takeshita for a 2, as Takeshita then ran in for a power drive knee. Matt then nailed a poison Rana. Takeshita countered a BTE trigger into a double Takeshita line. Raging Fire, but was cut off by Okada, who tried a Rainmaker on Matt, who ducked, and Takeshita took the shot. So it's like they both hit their opponent in different times, or their partner, I mean. The Bucks then hit dueling super kicks on Okada and a BTE trigger, only Okada kicked out. There's a Meltzer's driver that was cut off by Takeshita initially. So Takeshita's on the floor, Nick's on the apron ready to jump for the Meltzer driver, and Takeshita grabs his foot. And then Takeshita looks around for a second and goes, you know what? Go, do it. I don't care about this match anymore. And he goes to start walking off. Callis is like, what the hell's going on? What are you doing? Takeshita, where are you going? Nick hits the Meltzer driver. They pin Okada 1, 2, 3. And Takeshita's talking trash the whole way leaving. Gone. Just beside himself. Doesn't know why Takeshita would do that. And Takeshita's probably just thinking, you know what? Take him down a peg. I'm getting my title match anyways, because that was the stipulation. Not if we win, I get the title shot. It's if I do it, we get the title shot. Eventually, maybe at Double or Nothing. Maybe on TV, I don't know. We're going to get Takeshita, Okada for that, was it international championship? Whichever one goddamn Okada's got. Because there's an international, there's a international, continental, national, yeah. As long as I don't get an intercontinental, because then we have international, national, intercontinental, continent. It's convoluted. Great match, though. I thought this was if you don't watch the pre-show and this is the first thing you saw, great opener to hype everybody up. So we had Jericho versus Ricochet. I thought, as a whole, not a bad match, but too much interference. I thought the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona getting involved as much as they did. Granted, they're the heels, whatever, but I just thought it was too much. I thought them getting involved was just a little too much in this match. So, interestingly, here's something to talk about. And it might have been a Fightful report. So let me go check this really fast. You know, when Jericho returns, he always wants to do something different. When Jericho comes back, he wants to change things up a little bit every time he takes that hiatus and then comes back. Well, his new thing is, apparently, he's not Chris Jericho. He's just Jericho. Like, all they're doing is calling him Jericho. Fightful did report on this yesterday, and they wrote one little line here saying, quote, regarding him being referred to as, quote, Jericho. We're told that is a Chris Jericho insistence, and that he will still be referred to as Chris Jericho at times on TV. So, like, you know, he went to New Japan, he was the Painmaker. Then he came to AEW, and he was doing the stuff with all the different groups. Every time he'd come back, he'd have a different group. And then at one point, it was, what was it? What's the one he did with the Bad Apple and Cass? Bill? What are we going to call him? What was that one? TV Time with Jericho or whatever it was. I don't remember. TV Tree, the Tree. I don't remember that one. But now his new one is, I'm just Jericho. I'm just Jericho. And so, like, sometimes they may call him Chris, but for the most part, he wants to just be Jericho. Weird, but whatever. Also, he trademarked the name Cornerstone. Hasn't used that yet, so I'm interested to see where that comes from. Cornerstone Jericho? Jericho Cornerstone? The Cornerstone Jericho? Making his way to the ring. The Cornerstone Jericho. I don't know. Le Champion. That's right. That's one. Le Champion. Thank you, Messi. Hold on. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. I didn't realize. Okay. Huh. So, little behind the scenes here for you guys. I actually have 3 chats up at all time. I have one that's just the YouTube chat, because that way I can monitor the YouTube stream there. One that's just the Twitch chat, because I can monitor the Twitch chat there. But then over on this screen, which is actually my streaming software, the one on this side, I have a combined chat, which is everything, right? I have the Twitch and the YouTube chat together. Well, interestingly, whenever I see in there is what's typed out, what's given, this, that, whatever. But I never realized that YouTube chat is actually translating itself. Messi here wrote Le Champion. L-E space C-H-A-M-P-I-O-N. And I bet you none of you care about this, but I find this interesting. Le Champion. You wrote that, right? But then if I look on my combined chat, which is from Restream, it says Le Champion. That's the one I look at the most. But if I go to the YouTube chat, it says The Champion. And I have to hover over it to see what he actually wrote, the non-translated version. That's interesting. I never knew that was a thing. I never knew that in real time, YouTube was translating the chat, I guess you would say. Interesting. Just a little nerd thing that piques my interest. I know most of you probably don't care. Anywho, Jericho, Ricochet. 2 guys, currently with only one name each. Early on, there's some arm drags that led to a "you still got it" chant for Chris Jericho. Jericho told the camera, "I never lost it." There's bald chants from the crowd as well for Ricochet. Jericho shined Ricochet's bald head as he was still talking to the camera ringside, showing Ricochet, yeah, he's indeed bald. There's a float over from Ricochet, who did the handspring Spider-Man pose. You can barely see my notes on the teleprompter without my glasses. I can kind of see it if I squint like that. A really bad squint. And we're back. He glowed a little too long, though. Jericho hit him with a series of chops. Jericho played to the crowd a little too much as well, as he went for a lion salt, only for Ricochet to send him crashing onto the apron. And then hit him with a Death Valley driver on the edge of the ring. The hardest part of the ring, as they tell us. There's a tope suicida that connected as Ricochet smashed Jericho into the steps before sweeping the leg out back inside the ring, hitting a slingshot dropkick to follow. Ricochet then zoned in on the arm as he distracted referee Aubrey Edwards to allow Bishop Khan and Toa Liona to get some shots in on Jericho. Again, like I stated, a little too much outside interference for me. Thank you, James. The Learning Tree. That's right. The Learning Tree with Chris Jericho. That's what he called himself. The Learning Tree. Anywho, Jericho started firing up at one point with some shoulder blocks, arm attacks. This led to a lion salt that popped the crowd big. Jericho then tried to go for the walls of Jericho. Ricochet spun out of it. Only Jericho hit a hip toss and placed his hair on Ricochet's bald noggin. That got some laughs. Ricochet then shielded himself with Aubrey Edwards, pulled Jericho into the ropes, tried a Northern Light suplex, but Jericho spun out of it into a walls attempt. Toa Liona then took the referee as Bishop Khan jumped in and set Jericho into the ropes, giving Ricochet a chance to hit a Death Valley driver and a running shooting star for a 2. Again, fucking in the ring. Way too much outside interference. Jericho floated over a vertigo, though, and hit a code breaker for a near fall. There's a yay boost spot with forearm exchanges. Jericho then brought Ricochet up to the top rope for some 10 punches. Hit a Hurricane Rana. Ricochet then dodged another codebreaker attempt into a, what is it? They said the name of the move, but I wasn't sure. It's something like a Benadryller or something like that. I don't know. Probably saying that wrong. He hit a rolling Northern Lights in their vertigo. Jericho kicked out. To go closer towards the latter half of the match, the Demand. Jericho took out all members of the Demand with a dive from the top. He literally goes to the top rope, throws 3 on the floor over by the ramp. Jericho kind of looks at the camera and goes, huh? And then does it. I'm like, that's funny. That was funny. Leona then crashed into the railings. Khan took a Judas effect flush on the jaw, looked like. Leona then recovered and mowed down Jericho with Aubrey Edwards distracted by Ricochet. Again, too much interference. Back in the ring, Ricochet then hit a shooting star press for a 2, loaded up for a spirit gun, was going to go for the pin, but Leona told him not to, calling for a lion salt. Ricochet then hit it and pinned Jericho with his own move, 1, 2, 3. So it was like a little more disrespect right there when it goes, I could have beat you, but I'm going to do your move and then beat you. So, good match. Just had too much outside interference for my liking. But overall, I thought Jericho and Ricochet worked great together. Now, you know who worked better than great together? You know who worked fantastically together? Goddamn Darby Allin and Andrade. And you know what I got to say about this? Goddamn Andrade got a match out of Darby where Darby didn't have to have any other than one, and I wouldn't even call it a bad spot. I wouldn't even call it a trying to kill yourself spot. It was just a little too close to the barricade spot where Darby did this like dive from the top rope to the floor onto Andrade, and they were just a little close to the barricade, and it maybe looked like Andrade smacked the back of his head on the barricade just slightly. Other than that, that was the only like real holy shit, someone might die kind of move in this match. You usually watch a Darby match, and there's going to be 1 or 2 spots where it's like Darby's trying to kill himself again. Darby wants to commit suicide. Darby wants to take 5 more years off of his life. This match? No. Unless I missed something, I didn't see any kind of death spot from Darby at all. Which actually, to me, was a good thing, because then we got to just see a real fantastic wrestling match. Didn't need any stunts. Didn't need any crazy Darby spot. Didn't need any, oh, well, you know, I got to almost kill myself to get over. No. Didn't need any of that. It was just these two guys both want a world title shot. The winner is supposed to become #1 contender. Let's fight it out. So, Allin opted not to brawl early on, but worked headlocks and hammerlocks. A little chain wrestling early on, I guess you would say. Andrade tried to go for the DM quickly, but Allin wanted a coffin drop. Both had each other scouted. Andrade then posed in the ropes, causing Allin to tackle him, both crashing to the floor. Andrade was able to gain a little bit of the upper hand, walked Allin up the steps in the suplex position, placed Allin on the post, and chopped him back into the ring. Andrade spots another adoring fan at ringside, so he goes and flirts with his girl. They take a selfie and all that kind of stuff, but didn't realize, here comes Darby flying in off the top rope. This is the spot where I said, a little close to the barricade. Maybe looks like Andrade smacked the barricade a little hard, but other than that, he was fine. They still worked the whole, how long was this match? I forgot to see the other matches. This match, 16 and a half minutes. The Ricochet match, 14. The first match, 20. Tag match. Anyways. Allin, like I said, flew down with a, I guess it's a crossbody. I don't know. He just jumped down on him. Darby at one point then did some just like a drop kick off the steps kind of deal, sending Andrade flying backwards but landing horribly. Oh, this was it. This is the spot where, not the dive, it was this drop kick where he smacked his back really hard on the barricade. That's what it was. And then he went back into the ring where Allin hit a coffin splash, but collapsed briefly, allowing Andrade to hit the 3 amigos. Third sending Allin crashing into the corner. Andrade then missed the corner charge knee, giving Allin a chance to kind of recover, hit a float over stunner, and then there's a double down. Allin at one point missed a charge as Andrade brought him up to the ropes in a fireman's carry somehow, almost hitting an avalanche crucifix bomb into a crossface, but Andrade just got to the ropes. Allin then gave Andrade no chance to recover here. He went for a wild tope, resulting in Allin himself crashing hard into the commentary table, which it's like, for Darby crazy spots, that's nothing. That's nothing for a Darby crazy spot. Oh, he hit the commentary table. We see that a lot in all kinds of companies. So he set Andrade on a chair. Allin went up top and hit a signature missile drop kick. Allin wanted to suplex Andrade back into the ring from the apron, but the tables were turned. Andrade suplexed Allin to the floor. You can hear him go splat. But again, still For a Darby match, that was a tame spot. They slowly get back into the ring, and Andrade hit a corner double knees, but Allin kicked out. The crowd started chanting, take your pants off to Andrade, so he obliged. In commentary, I think it was Nigel, was like, oh, I'm seeing women fainting all over the arena. Andrade then hit a rolling moonsault for a 2. Andrade dared Allin to fight back. Landed, there was a big slap battle, I guess you would call it. Andrade slapped the living crap out of Darby at one point. He went for a reverse DDT, but Allin scrambled up the ropes to flip through it with a Scorpion Death Drop and a Coffin Drop and got a 2. Allin wanted to go for a Code Red, but Andrade flipped him back onto his feet and hit a back elbow for a 2. The DM kind of was attempted, but was blocked for the most part as Allin locked in a Last Supper for the flash pin. Post-match, a frustrated Andrade got up and offered a handshake, raising Allin's hand and giving him the ring, which was very interesting here. Darby wins, flash pin, kind of out of nowhere, whatever. And then the match ends, and you're like, oh, Darby won. Darby's going to get a shot at the title. And then all of a sudden, like, everybody's confused. Andrade goes over to Darby, and he's like, handshake. And I'm like, well, what? Huh? Okay. That was interesting. But it was more like, hey, we had a really freaking good match here. And they went, like I said, 16 and a half minutes. And it was all action throughout the entire 16 and a half minutes. And I thought this was one of the better matches of the night. I thought this match was awesome. I thought these two killed it. And where I usually go, I don't want to see Darby fighting for the title. Darby's just going to go out there and kill himself over and over and over, and it's just going to be whatever. But if we go out there and we have a match similar to this with Darby and MJF, I'm all for it. We have a match where, yeah, Darby does a couple of his high spots and crazy dives and whatever that look bad, but are tame for a Darby match, then hell yeah. We don't need him getting goddamn belly-to-belly suplexed onto the steel steps like in that Roosh match where his spine just, yeah, no. We don't need stuff like that. Darby getting thrown downstairs and Darby getting just, yeah, no. But when your worst thing is you took a suplex from the apron, okay, guy. So, Darby will be challenging next for the AEW World title. He's the new number 1 contender, and kudos, they actually did a goddamn number 1 contenders match. Excuse me. So moving forward, good pacing here between matches too. Not much, if any, downtime. And the other thing about that, I gotta say, that reminds me, saying that, making that reference reminded me, by the time the show was over, I go, didn't feel as long as a normal AEW show. Look down at my clock. Oh shit, it's 11:30 something. It is late. But kudos to them for having a lot of good matches that A, didn't feel as long as the matches actually were. And B, the show itself, at least to me, not super feeling as long as they normally do. Like usually you go, man, we still got 2 matches left, and I feel like I've been sitting here all day. We had 2 matches left, or actually we go to the main event, and I'm just like, oh, man, we're already at the main event. Then the show ends, and I'm like, dang, what is it? Like 10? No, 11:30. Holy crap. So, again, another positive here where they had a long show that didn't feel as long as it actually was. Moving forward, we have the tag titles on the line. It was FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler against CNC, Cope and Christian, Adam Copeland, and Christian Cage. This match itself went 21 minutes. Stokely showing off Cage's watch that he stole on Wednesday during the FTR attack. Cage has his shoulder all taped up. Wheeler offered a handshake to Copeland to start. Copeland spat at him, and all 4 guys start brawling at the bell. Then we start hearing, oh, Canada. And Copeland sent Wheeler crashing repeatedly into the railing. The crowd's still going, oh, Canada. Actually, they stop, and the match keeps going. Where was I? Wheeler crashed repeatedly into the railing as Harwood took a right hand, which gave Wheeler long enough to catch Copeland on the apron with a knee lift into a draping DDT. Copeland has worked over here at one point until he finally broke free and tagged in Cage, who quickly stepped on both FTR into the ropes, choking them in the middle with a middle rope. Cage then dished out 20 corner punches to both, hit his reverse DDT on Wheeler, mule kick on Harwood, and sent both FTR members crashing to the floor outside. One point, where was I? Cage then flipped off Stokely, went up top, and did a dive onto FTR. Back inside the ring, Harwood went after the injured shoulder of Cage and decked him with a lariat. Wheeler then broke a pin attempt here from Christian, though. Snapped the arm over the top rope, and sent Christian falling to the floor, into the railing, and into the post on the outside. FTR then wanted the powerplex, but Cage bit Harwood and hit a diving headbutt for a double down before making the hot tag to Copeland, who flew off the top of the clothesline. There's a Manhattan drop to Harwood, a spear off the apron to Wheeler as Harwood dodged a spear, but not an impaler DDT, which, well, got him a 2. Cope, that is. Copeland and Cage then tried a powerplex, but Harwood got his knees up, and Cage basically splatted on him while Wheeler flew off the top of the splash, but Copeland got the knees up. There's an executor briefly attempted by to Harwood, but switched into a crossface as Cage applied one on a Wheeler, who bit at his arm to get free. Copeland was busted open at this point. I don't know from what, but Copeland was bleeding. By the end of the match, he almost looked like Triple H WrestleMania 20. FTR tried a shatter machine on Cage, but Copeland hit a fall-away slam on Harwood, and Wheeler ate a shatter machine for a 2. Copeland and Cage then signaled for a spike pile driver, but Stokely pulled Cage through the outside by his bad arm. Copeland then put a chase on Stokely, but ran into a shatter machine. Cage grabbed Stokely and used him as a projectile to break the count. Stokely and Harwood then started arguing as Stokely tried blaming referee Paul Turner, who shoved Stokely out of the ring. The spear to Harwood that got a 2. Wheeler then flew in with a splash to break it all up. At one point, FTR had a little stare down with the bloody Copeland, who then basically wanted to fight them both by himself with Cage down. But it took a super kick party, I guess you would say, from FTR, as FTR mocked the Young Bucks. FTR trigger is dodged as Copeland hit a double spear to reset everything. Wheeler then dodged a spear. FTR hit a shatter machine in the middle of the ring and got the pin 1, 2, 3. So there we go. FTR does defeat Copeland and Christian to retain the AEW World Tag Team titles in a 21-minute match. I thought the match was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was honestly probably better than I expected. I thought we were going in here and have a really good match. We came in here and had a great match. I want to say thank you to Esports Gaming Rules, subscribed on Twitch. That's 45 months, 13 in a row. He said, quote, what is going on? Chris Jericho and AEW. Seems fans are shocked that he lost and thought he going to win because he resigned to AEW instead of going to WWE. So I haven't really followed much social media reactions, I guess you would say, to this show. So you're saying fans are shocked that Jericho lost? Whatever. But also Jericho's the guy that will put people over. Jericho's the guy that's like, oh, I've been gone for a while. Doesn't mean I have to win right away. That's just Jericho. If he sees the opportunity to maybe put somebody else over and help them, he's going to do it. So, I mean, him staying with AEW instead of going to WWE, I don't think has anything to do with anything. And it's more of what? Tony needs to give him a win to reward him for re-signing. Yeah, he can lose now and then probably build him up to something for Wembley down the line. Double or Nothing's coming. Build a big match for him there and then head into Wembley. So I don't see it either way being good or bad. It's like Jericho lost, Ricochet won. Okay. Hopefully they do something better with Ricochet than just ha-ha right now. So that's my thing. I don't care either way that Jericho lost or Ricochet won because there was no stakes to the match. There was no real importance of the match. It was just go out there and have a match. And hopefully they capitalize on Ricochet beating someone at the level of a Jericho. And I'm out of drink. Whoop-a-dee-doo. That's Not good, and I spilt drink on my glasses. Hopefully that doesn't end up sticky. I am Dr. Pepper. So moving forward, we then had the gauntlet match. Actually, excuse me. They did the recap of the Camille stuff from the pre-show. They then did an interview with Willow. Basically said, if you want to make a comeback on my expense, you're on. And we're going to have a hell of a match this week. If you want to hope on the... If you want to... I wrote this weird. If you want to hope on... So if you want to hop on the welcome wagon as, quote, Miss American Gladiator, I'll see you, Camille, at Spring Break-In this Thursday. Or Spring Breakthrough. It's official for Dynamite. Corey, you've been here since before I started reviewing this match. Or the match. I think you've been here for a while. You just heard what I said about Jericho and Ricochet. Why are you asking, did Jericho beat Ricochet? You did not just hear me say Ricochet won. Like I reviewed the match and just talked about it with Esports Gaming Rules' comment here. Like, come on, guy. I literally said Jericho lost to put over Ricochet. Then we switched out commentary. Nigel left, and in came Bryan Danielson, which is a fun little surprise. Then we had the gauntlet match for the vacant TNT title. And here's something I need to see Tony do at least once eventually. Whether that's this year, next year, or whatever. They keep teasing on commentary. You know, you want an early number here because this match can end at any time. You want that advantage of coming out 1 or 2 because this match can end at any time. We need to see one of these casino gauntlet matches where it ends with just the first 2. Where something happens and it's like a UFC fight where someone gets caught in the first 30, 40 seconds and they're knocked out. What needs to happen? Which they should do. Someone needs to go in there and just, maybe it be like you got a big guy like a Brian Cage. You got a small guy like a Darby. Cage runs in there, hits him with his big ass clothesline that folds him up, big power bomb, and just pins him within a minute. The fact that they keep doing the whole, this match could end at any time. You want to be 1 or 2 because you never know if this match can end quick. You know, they need to do one that ends quick. They need to do one that literally ends with either the first 2 or 3. Like no more than 3. Just to tell us, especially since there's no set intervals, which actually I like that there's no set intervals. It A, makes it different than a Royal Rumble, and B, makes it less predictable. And not really that. More unpredictable is the way to say it. But yeah, I think that they need to do at least one of these at some point where the winner comes from the first 3 spots. Where not just from the first 3 spots, but within the first 3 spots. So either before number 3 comes out or before number 4. Because they keep telling us the match could end at any time. They keep telling us this match could be super short and you want an early draw. But they haven't shown us that yet. And I get it. You don't want to do that. Especially not often or early on. We're trying to build up with the importance of a casino gauntlet. But I think to keep the what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? To keep the aura of this match could end at any time, at least once that match needs to end super early. Whether that is one where there's not really much on the line or something big like the TNT title is on the line, I think they need to do one. And now I'm beating a dead horse saying the same thing over and over and over. They need to do one that ends super early. Because you never go in this thinking, it could end within the first 2. Number 3's out here. It could end soon. You never think it's going to end soon. You always think you're going to get at least 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 people. I think and correct me if I'm wrong. The least amount we've seen, I want to say was 8, but I could be wrong on that. So it's like, even at that, you've been probably going 10, 15. I don't think I counted and got the number of, well, no, I do have a number at the end. Because I did right here, Kevin Knight at number 9-1. Maybe I don't have all the numbers. And I know they said it too at the end. Kevin Knight came out at number 9. Or it's like, that's pretty far in. Esports Gaming Rules also says MJF wins with the ring. We wonder how TNA and Nick Nemeth feels about that. Why? Did I miss something about the ring and them? I saw the thing where TNA is now saying our wrestlers can't wrestle wrestlers from AEW. What does that have anything to do with the ring? And that being how MJF won. Technically, MJF won from using a goddamn table, not just the ring. But I don't understand your comment here. What would the finish of this match have to do with TNA and Nick Nemeth? Like, I don't get it. Esports Gaming Rules. Anyways. Gauntlet match. Starts off with Ciampa and Roosh. These two just have a fucking brawl. As far as they just beating the crap out of each other. Chops aplenty. Roosh then changed the levels with a home run, a forearm. Roosh, whose chest is now bleeding from these chops from Ciampa. Like when I said chopping the hell out of each other, he chopped the hell out of Roosh because he had the red coming out. Anyways. Countdown starts to go. We say who's coming out number 3, and it's current ROH. Is Bandito got the ROH title or not? I can't remember. Ring of Honor roster. Who's the ROH champion again? It is Bandito. They didn't do a good job at reminding us that tonight. Anyways, cutie. Bandito comes out at number 3. Caught Roosh with a pump kick and a somersault suicida onto Ciampa on the outside. There's a corner cannonball to Roosh and Roosh. And then Bandito kind of barked, a tribute to his partner Brody King, who I don't know why Brody wasn't there tonight, but I know Brody wasn't on the show Wednesday because he went to a funeral or a celebration of life. Big. I don't know who the person was that they were celebrating that passed away, unfortunately, but I do know Danhausen and CM Punk were both there as well. So yes, there was a picture of everybody, and we did get the jokes online. Oh, Brody King ditched a Dynamite to go hang out with WWE guys. Yep, I saw the quotes, the jokes, the tweets. It wasn't funny. Number 4 comes out and it's Speedball Mike Bailey, who took out Roosh on the floor with the missile drop kick. Oh, wait, I'm getting tired. On Ciampa. He then hit a shooting star press for a 2. Roosh slowly walks back in, and there's another chop battle. Number 5 is Clone, and nobody cares. Try to fire off a thrust kick. Only at Rush on the stage. The Matrix Pele kick to Ciampa in the ring, or at ringside, I mean. Penalty kick to Bailey. A tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to Bandito after missing a powerbomb into a kick. And I'm just like, yeah, this Clone guy, he's just whatever. Pat comes out at number 6 next. First member of the Death Riders, who came from the crowd and spiked Clone with a bounce back German suplex. And Bailey with a wild overhead belly to belly into the corner. Quickly up top, Pac hit a massive corkscrew dive onto the pile before having a stare down with Bailey back inside the ring. Bandito then joined in, and the crowd, as the crowd really got into it, see the 3 of them kind of go face to face. Then we get another member of the Death Riders coming out next. We're number 7, old Daniel Garcia, old Danny G. Danny G, what we working with Danny G? He rushed down to the ring, tried to save his old buddy. Pac. So there's a quick pin attempt to everyone in sight that was kind of down by Garcia. He then pump faked doing his dance. He's like, oh, let's just do good now, basically. Where was I? Sorry, I'm getting tired. Oh yeah, the show ended at 11:30 something Central Time. Just think people are trying to review this on the East Coast, an hour ahead of me. Anyways, Pac and Garcia giving Clone the locomotive corner roll charges. Death Riders then had to fight number 8 and Anthony Bowen, so they all kind of ran wild. He did drop Bandito at one point with the Faymaster. Clone with a twisting reverse torture rack. There's a knee breaker. off of a dragon screw to Bailey, leaving Bowens and Pac slugging it out. Bowens hit a spinning DDT for a 2. Ciampa and Roosh then pounced on Bowens. Number 9 comes out, the eventual winner, Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight leapfrogged Roosh on the apron and took out Ciampa with a jumping lariat, leaping lariat, jumping lariat. It's all the same. Then a bunch of stuff just starts happening and everyone's brawling everywhere, and I don't really get many notes. I know at one point Roosh returned and delivered bullhorns to Bowens. Clone then dove onto Roosh. There was a bunch going on. I think there's a 21 plex from Bandito to Ciampa. The number 10 comes out, and it's Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta is out there, who laid out Bowens with a drive. But Bailey was there to take him out as well. Death Riders and swarm Bailey. There's a pile of forearms and pile of forearms as Clone managed a Spanish fly from the apron in midair onto a diving Bandito, which you can catch all of that. I think you're smarter than me. There's so much that happened. If you can get notes on all of that, kudos. I couldn't. I know there were things that I missed. Here says, what are the differences in East Coast and West Coast? First off, West Coast, best coast. Gonna say that right there. West Coast, best coast. You can't say that about the East Coast. East Coast, best coast. That don't rhyme. East Coast to East Coast. That's just not a word. This ain't Happy Gilmore. Mista. The big difference is the East Coast is on the right side of the country. West Coast is on the left side of the country. And there's a 3-hour time difference. West Coast, best coast. Just gonna say it. West Coast, best coast. Ciampa then brought Kevin Knight up for a superplex. He plexed him onto the pile as Pac avoided all of that. Positioned Bailey inside the ring for a Black Arrow for a 2. Ciampa flew in with a running knee. Yuta then smashed Ciampa into the railing as Garcia sank in a Dragon Tamer on Bailey, but Knight then flew in with UFO Splash and got the pin 1, 2, 3. And I didn't catch that. I had to wait for the replay to see that he actually hit the UFO Splash, because all of a sudden I see all this going on, see all this with Mike Bailey, and then all of a sudden I hear ding, ding, ding. I'm like, wait, it's over? What the fuck just happened? And they're like, oh, Kevin Knight in with a UFO Splash for the win. And I was like, oh, cool. So much happened there at the end that I technically kind of, I guess you would say, missed the finish a little. So I think they mentioned on commentary something about Mike Bailey looking a little disappointed here. Which, you lost. So that match itself in 21 minutes. Then we go to our next match for the AEW Women's World Championship. It was Tekla. You don't say the H. It's Tekla versus Jamie Hayter. Match went 17 minutes, and it was just there. Kind of just there, in my opinion. I guess the Brawling Birds have a traveling bar where they had a bar set up backstage with, it said Brawling Birds on it. Again, I hate the name Brawling Birds. Brawling Birds is a stupid ass name. Anywho. Where was I? Tekla, Jamie Hayter. It was okay at best, in my opinion. So Hayter steamrolled Tekla early on as the bell rang with a boot, some punches and bunches. Tekla then answered with a spear and a rolling arm lock choke as Hayter scrambled to the ropes to break free. She fought to the outside where they both traded 10 punches, but back inside, Hayter hit a body block that sent Tekla right back outside. Hayter then brought Tekla down on the ramp with the suplex, teased giving one on the stage, but Tekla countered into a swinging DDT. A little bit later on in the match, Tekla floated over a suplex into a roll-up with the tights grabbed, which plays into the finish. She tried doing that. She tried cheating on the pin a couple of times, and it didn't work till the very end. Hayter slowly got up from all this, but is cut off as a dazed Tekla tees off with the former women's world champion. He bit the neck of Jamie Hayter before hitting the spider suplex. Double stomp to the back, hits massive curb stomp as well. Then clobbers Hayter with the buzzsaw kick as Danielson brings up the I always mess his words up. Lackadaisical cover by the champion, which is why she didn't get the full thing. She didn't get the win because, well, she was a little cocky on it. It was like, I don't need to really put this all into this. She then went for the spider walk again as she ran into a knee from Hayter as she was going to go for her spear. Follow this up with the Hayter breaker. Hayter ate in the corner, and Tekla kind of raked her eyes. Jamie Hayter loses her balance, falls down. Tekla rolls her up, grabs that bottom rope. 1, 2, 3. Tekla retains the title. And then they're trying to bring it up. Oh my God, she cheated. It's this catastrophe, this travesty. Oh my Lord. And I'm just like, nah. This was none of that. This match wasn't all that good. And I didn't care that Tekla cheated. Afterwards, Alex Windsor's yelling to the referee, you see what happened? She cheated. She grabbed the ropes, leverage. Ref's like, hey, whatever I say is final. Julia Hart and Sky Blue appeared on the ramp as well to celebrate with Tekla. Cool. So we had a really good match here that had a 20-minute time limit. Went 18 minutes. It was Jon Moxley, the Continental Champion, against Will Osprey. And I'm going to say I loved the storytelling in this match. As a match as a whole, if you're just watching it because you go, damn, Moxley and Osprey are going to have a hell of a match, you may have been like, meh, because there was a lot of just Osprey got his ass beat. Osprey got his ass beat. Oh, he's coming back, but he's still hurt. Osprey gets his ass beat. Oh, he's coming back. He's trying to go for the 19, whatever it is. Can't lift him up because his arm, his neck, his arm, his shoulder. It's like, come on, don't do that kind of bullshit. But moving forward, excuse me, the match starts and immediately, Osprey runs at Moxley, poof, hidden blade. Moxley's on the ground going, oh, what the shit just happened? Fuck. And commentary is like, he should go for the pin. He's got him down dead to rights. But he doesn't. Because we're only about 30 seconds in. He wants to give some pain and punishment to the champion, Jon Moxley. Where if you know, should have went for that pin because A, he ended up losing in the end. And B, you only got a finite amount of time, 20 minutes to get this match done before they call for the time limit draw. So, yeah, lock it in. Anyways. Hidden blade within the first 30 seconds. Sent Moxley. Moxley then gets another hidden blade. Like, takes another one and gets falls to the outside. The draping neckbreaker on the apron as Osprey falls with a pip Cheerio back inside. Moxley scrambled for a triangle choke, but Osprey powered out of it into a power bomb. Osprey then drove Moxley face first into the ring steps, yelling that Moxley took 6 months off of his life, not just his career, but his life. Moxley then dodged a kick and delivered a paradigm shift on the floor. Danielson on commentary then brought up both men contributing to the end of his career. Big matches over his last couple of months. You know, Moxley's really the one that ended his career and storyline. At one point, Osprey managed a desperation handspring corkscrew kick, another pip Cheerio as he went up top for a dive to the outside, but Moxley pulled him to the apron, where Osprey then decked him with a clothesline back inside. At one point, there was a chop battle that ensued as Osprey absorbed a lariat and a standing Spanish fly for a 2 was connected. Excuse me. There's a gotch style pile driver that spiked Osprey for a near fall at one point from Moxley. They took Osprey into the corner, wanting a avalanche sleeper suplex, but Osprey landed on his feet. Moxley ducked his hidden blade for another sleeper suplex as he tried to go for a lariat. Osprey floated over it and hit a Liger bomb for a 2. Osprey then tried an Oz cutter, but where was I? Moxley countered it into a paradigm shift. There's another slugfest after this, after a little bit of a reset. So Osprey hit a thrust kick flush. Referee Paul Turner had to pull Osprey off Moxley in the corner. Osprey shoved Turner down, and Osprey helped him get up, but the delay got Moxley over by chance. As we come down towards the finish of this match, Osprey tried a Tiger Driver on the steps, but Moxley raked the eyes and did a crazy pile driver on the steps. Doc Samson then rushed over to check on Osprey, and I'm like, don't do this. They half did it in the main event too. You want to tell us, oh, this guy's still not 100%. Well, then why are you fucking clearing him? Just saying. Anyways, as far as the finish of this match does go, there's a curb stomp from Moxley and a paradigm shift or 2. Osprey kicked out though. Moxley flattened Osprey with a Death Rider, and there we go. So, John Moxley wins and retains the international, which belt? Continental Championship. I was way off. Then, another match I really don't care about. We see all this stuff up on the ramp with me here. The conglomeration is filmed in front of a live studio audience. And I'm like, what is this? Fucking Miller Boyette Productions? And they're recreating like a sitcom. And so Orange Cassidy's on the couch. He's lounging, whatever. All of a sudden, in from a door comes, why my mind just go blank? AJ Styles, I want to say. Somebody. May have just been. Oh, no. Why did I really just say AJ Styles? I'm a dumb son of a gun. Roderick Strong. Probably because I just watched a AJ Styles Roderick Strong match like 2 days ago. An old TNA match. Anyways. Roderick Strong comes through the door. And he's like, Orange! Orange! He's yelling, Orange! And Orange is like, whoa, what? And he like pulls his blanket off of him. He's like, whoa, what? He's like, he's coming. He's coming. And he's like, who's coming? And you hear knocking on the door. And it opens up and it's Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly's back. So Kyle O'Reilly comes out. He's like, did somebody say conglomeration? And like their acting and everything here is just okay or whatever. But he gets a big pop because they're in his hometown. And so they come down to the ring. They get in the ring. And all of a sudden the Dogs music hits. The Dogs come out and they start wrecking shop. They knock over the door. Make it look like Clark Connors is humping his championship. You know, they just won the trios titles. On the couch. Gabe Kidd is peeing on the couch before David Finlay flips it over. And yeah, whatever. As far as the match does go, don't got much notes because I felt like there was just a bunch of nothing happening. Like, there's stuff happened in this match, but it was just like I was not ever at all invested in this match. Nothing pulled me in. Nothing got me wanting to see more. It was just like, oh, this match is happening. So O'Reilly got a flying leg lock on Finlay early on as Cassidy and Strong did the tamest demolition decapitation you'll ever see. John, we're only talking AEW tonight. We're not answering questions. We're talking anything WWE. So also, if you want to ask a question, you got to donate a super chat. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not talking WWE. And if you want a question answered, donate a super chat. Where was I? They took out the Dogs at one point. Strong and Cassidy were sent into the railing, though, while Finlay put the boots to O'Reilly before he and Connors dished out some more damage. At one point, Cassidy leapfrogged Connors and just kind of sauntered over to Strong, who made the hot tag and ran wild. Roderick Strong's freaking great. Roderick Strong and Connors were fighting before Roderick Strong took out Connors, but as Finley saved his partner from an end of heartache. Gabe Kidd was getting medical attention at this point. Again, I didn't see what happened, but the doctors, they were checking on Gabe Kidd, and eventually they just took him away, took him to the back. He was grabbing his arm and like holding his arm. So I don't know if I assume maybe it's an arm injury. But we don't know, because I didn't see anything of what happened with Gabe Kidd. Just all of a sudden, I noticed he was getting checked on, and then was gone. So, and then commentary even acknowledged it. Looks like medical is checking on Gabe Kidd at this moment. And like it looked like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle O'Reilly even went over to check on him and say, "Hey, everything okay? What's going on?" Kind of thing. Just so he knows what's happening, or somebody knows other than them just taking him away. But Finley and Connors kept going strong. They had him grounded until Strong back dropped Finley outside, drove Connors down with a backbreaker. O'Reilly then returned and made the loud hot tag, as the crowd was going crazy for the hometown boy, Kyle O'Reilly, as he ran wild, dishing out Dragon Screws aplenty. Come down to the finish of the match here, where Cassidy, so there was an attempted ankle lock. Finley charged and broke it up. Cassidy then whiffed on an orange punch. Strong then took out Finley instead. Connors then all of a sudden starts tapping out to the ankle lock. And I was like, wait, I thought the ankle lock was broken up when Finley charged in to break it up, but I guess it wasn't. I was so confused, and I was like, oh, title change. But again, I was so confused on what was going on here, because I thought that ankle lock was broken up by goddamn David Finley when he charged in, but I guess it wasn't. So, yeah. Agglomeration, your new AEW Trios champions in a match that went 10 minutes. And I was bored through all of it. It was a boring 10-minute match. Then you know what we had? A fucking absolute banger of a main event that went almost 40 minutes. It didn't feel like 40 minutes. It felt like 25. So we got a cool piano version of Kenny Omega's theme as he came down for his entrance. We then got a special devil entrance for MJF, where his music, they had like a horn section play it, where it's like, it was really cool. It sounded like a horn section was playing his theme, and I'm like, fuck, do it like this from now on. And then they stop, and then we get the YouTube free music version, royalty free, can't get sued for using this song version of MJF's theme. Yes, well before MJF started using it, you could have got MJF's theme from the YouTube royalty free music library if you are a creator with the back end. Literally in there, I forget the name of it, but it's in there that anybody can use MJF's theme in their YouTube videos basically, and not get in trouble for it. Anyway, as far as this match does go, referee Bryce Winsberg takes the diamond ring before the bell rings. Omega then tried to go for a one-winged angel very quickly. I think Excalibur called it a one-legged angel. MJF rolled through for a 2. MJF then sidestepped a V-trigger, wanted a heat seeker, but Omega scouted it, charged in with a knee. MJF then tried to hightail it into the crowd, saying, we ain't doing this. Then returned to the ring. Omega offered a handshake, but MJF shoved him, high-faced him. They started like shoving and slapping each other, kind of. And then at one point, Omega ramped up with a Terminator dive, but MJF took a walk. So Omega hit a baseball slide and a slingshot crossbody. Omega then charged, but MJF hit a drop toe hold onto a chair, sending Omega over the top, or over the timekeeper's area and onto the table there. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? They're going to move that table, aren't they? If they wouldn't have moved the table, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. If they put someone through that table and they wouldn't have moved it, okay, whatever. The table was there before. Just like the announce table, just like the steel steps. When you start moving shit, whether that's the timekeeper's table, you grab a table from under the ring, then you cheat. So Omega clears this table, moves the table, and brings it to ringside. And I'm just like, the ref's just going to watch all of this? Ref, at least tell him don't do it. It's against the rules. Not just, I'm watching. Fucking Bryce. Like, again, it's one thing if they didn't move the table and they just put him, somebody got put through it while it's sitting where it was originally positioned. But the fact that you moved it, it's just like the steel steps. You could throw somebody into the steel steps. The moment you pick up the top part of them steel steps and try to use it to hit somebody with it, that's when you're going to get DQ'd. But with this table, yeah, you can put someone through it because it was already there. It's set dressing, part of the setup. But the moment you grab it and move it, it is no longer, no longer be allowed to be used. Moment you move it. Anyways, Omega grabs the chair or the table and moves it to ringside, placing it on top of MJF before just doing a double stomp onto the table onto the MJF. Table was properly set up at ringside at this point, but not quite used yet. MJF was put on the table as Omega went up top, but MJF rolled into the ring, crotched Omega, trying to battle back for a powerbomb. MJF countered it into a water wheel drop for a near fall, delivered corner punches, and a thrusted, he basically just shoved Omega right in the face. Omega then turned the tables and dished out some punches of his own until MJF kind of faked a knee injury for a split second. Omega took the bait, though, and allowed MJF to spin out of a pile driver attempt, mocked a V-trigger attempt. Omega then dodged it into a snapdragon for a double down. A little bit later, Omega went for a one-winged angel. Only this time, MJF countered into a poison rana of his own, followed by a Panama Sunrise, which Omega no-sold into a running knee for a 2. MJF then sidestepped to charge, missed a heat seeker, but slingshotted Omega into a cutter for a 2. At one point, Omega wanted to go for a V-trigger, but MJF had it scouted. There's another fake-out moment kind of deal. At one point, MJF zoned in on the stomach of Kenny Omega, and they're like, oh, his stomach's probably not 100%. His stomach's still hurting from the diverticulitis. They play that. Commentary at least tries to play that up again later, where Omega's on the outside, kind of like kneeled down. And they're like, he's grabbing his belly, he's grabbing his gut, something like that. At one point, Omega managed to bring MJF into the ring, and up top, there's an avalanche one-winged angel. It stunned commentary because it wasn't just like you're standing out, looking out from the top rope, and you jump, do the one-winged angel like we always see. No, this was Kenny's here. No. It was MJF sitting on the top rope, looking towards the ring. Kenny is up looking at MJF, picks him up, and then does a one-winged angel where he has to jump backwards and then forward down into the one-winged angel. I'm like, oh, shit, that was cool. Commentary was also stunned by this as well. I thought this was a really cool, really good-looking spot. Omega that went out after, but took too long to do anything really. MJF tried a crossroads. Omega dodged it with a wheel kick to the back. The V-trigger in the corner, snapdragon V-trigger again to the face. That they tried saying connected, but then they showed a slow-mo replay where literally you can see there my fist is, well, we'll do this hand. Pretend my fist is Kenny's knee. And as it's coming, you see MJF move his face, and it never connects. So while it looked good in normal time, once they slowed it down, you can totally see it's that. Sometimes the slow motion replay is to your detriment. Anyways, Omega initially tried to get MJF up top a second time, but MJF escaped a one-winged angel into a crossroads, which got booed. Very interesting. Package pile driver, they got a 2. MJF then starts paint brushing Omega, toying with him. There's a V trigger that clobbered MJF. Crowd wanted one more. Omega gave him just that. Halloween Angel was avoided by MJF, who pulled Bryce Remsburg in the way. He took a V trigger. And I'm like, oh, Lord, the ref bump. Oh, ref bump. Let's see what MJF cheats with first. So MJF, who grabs he just goes right over to the ref. Commentary, he's like digging in the pants of Bryce Remsburg. And commentary goes, what is he looking for? Is he taking his belt off of him? Finally gets up and puts on the ring. And they're like, oh, he wanted the ring. Sure. That brings MJF to the apron, signals to use the table that he had set up earlier, but not to his avail. MJF slugged him away, knocked him in the ribs with the diamond ring. Back in the ring, he had a heat seeker on the apron. Put Kenny Omega. No. He put Kenny Omega through the table with like a one-winged angel or whatever from the apron. Tombstone from the apron through the table. Threw him back in the ring. Then he hit the heat seeker and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So fucking convoluted in the finish where I'm just like, we just had this goddamn incredible match that I thought only went 25 minutes, but really went 40. But you're going to have this shitty finish where you do the tombstone off the apron through the table that shouldn't even be there or allowed anyways, while the refs in the ring just or see what you guys are doing down there. And just lets us all go. Throws Omega back in the ring, hits him with the heat seeker, and pins him 1, 2, 3. MJF and still AEW World Champion. You have a freaking great match with a shit ass finish. All I got to say about that. MJF then gets out of the ring, goes up to the top of the ramp. He then sits in the chair that he rode in on, put the crown on that signifies he's the devil, and they tell us, oh, Darby's next in line for him. That was it. I was showing off the air, looking at MJF sitting on his little throne with the crown on. As far as the show does go, I thought it was a really, really, really good show for the most part overall. Like, things I didn't like was the finish to the main event, because it's like, you're going to use the goddamn table that shouldn't be used, and the ref's not going to do anything about it. Fuck you, ref. Fuck you, Bryce. Goddamn Bryce Remsburg. That. Didn't really care for the trios match. Didn't really care for the women's title match. Everything else I thought was fucking great. This was, overall, a goddamn good show. Great show. Great show. Also, I haven't seen anything from the scrum post-match. So as I go and refresh all these polls, maybe we go see if someone's got anything written up about the scrums. Let's go here, here, and here. Or as these polls do go. Why can't I get it to load? There it is. As far as the threads poll does go, 90% liked the show. 10% thought it was just all right. Also, for anybody that missed it, Bubba Wallace did drive a WrestleMania-themed car today at Bristol Motor Speedway, where another wrestling tie-in, old Mayor Kane, Glenn Jacobs, and his grandson, didn't know he had a grandson, gave the command to start engines. Gentlemen, start your engines. As far as Bubba does go in the WrestleMania car, he did finish 11th, so right outside the top 10. He floated right around there. 9th, 12th most of the race. He was up to 5th at one point that I saw. As far as the community poll does go, 75% liked the show, 13% thought it was just all right, and 12% didn't like it. And then this guy goes, I didn't watch. I won't be surprised if it was a lot better than WrestleMania next week. Shut the fuck up. You can't comment about something if you didn't watch it. You can't say it's going to be better than next week's WrestleMania if you didn't even watch it. Yes, this was a great show. But to say, I didn't watch this, but I bet you it's better than WrestleMania. Fuck off, nerd. As far as live polls go, 80% liked the show, 12% didn't like the show, and 8% thought it was just all right. As far as if we have any notes from the post-show scrum. Ooh, Tony Khan did give an update on Gabe Kidd. This is from Brian Rose of F4W Online. Regarding Gabe Kidd, Tony said he was out indefinitely, saying it was his shoulder that was injured and being evaluated. Oof, that's not good. Shoulder injury, not good at all. Khan started the scrum by saying he wanted MJF here to take questions, but MJF refused. Of course he did. He also said that buys on HBO Max were, quote, very high, and this may be the most bought dynasty ever. Was it the third? Should be the best, the most watched. Khan was asked if they will have a social media policy going forward based off everything that went down with Ricochet and telling the lady, glad you got MS. He said he had to have a frank discussion with Ricochet. It continues to be a policy in place for these kinds of things, and Ricochet violated that policy, actually, which we did not know that. The only thing that ever came out in the news was Ricochet said this, didn't apologize. Chris Hero then had a talk with him, and then they apologized and took it down. So apparently, there is some sort of a code of conduct when it comes to social media within AEW, and Ricochet violated it. Well, that's good to know, because we did not know that before this. The scrum ended with Tony Khan, that is, and Renee Paquette talking about some of their favorite Canadian AEW moments. Khan mentioned the debut of Renee Paquette back in October of 2022, as well as Sunday's show. Renee also mentioned Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega versus Will Osprey in Toronto at Forbidden Door, and the hockey fight between Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Some other notes here. Thekla was asked about re-signing with the company. She said that AEW needed her, but also that was a perfect fit. Kyle O'Reilly, with the rest of the conglomeration, said that tonight meant the world to him. He said that while his father, who recently passed away, wasn't there to see him win, his daughter was. That's cool. And then Kevin Knight was asked if there was any tension between him and Speedball Mike Bailey after the singles title win. Knight said that he would love to defend the title against Speedball. With that, guys, that is everything I got for you. AEW Dynasty, overall, a hell of a show. Really, really good. Flew by, to be completely honest. With that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, the final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. Also, WWE should start tomorrow setting up the stage in Allegiant Stadium for WrestleMania, if not starting today, Sunday, because they had to wait Friday, Saturday. Bruno Mars was in there doing a concert. But regardless, WWE should be setting up that stage already, if not first thing tomorrow morning. So if we do get any kind of like leaked photos or whatnot of the stage construction, we'll have it for you right here. Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We'll be talking WrestleMania stuff all week on the channel. We'll start it tomorrow with Raw and go from there. With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week.